So I know that I am not the only one who has trouble with the story of Noah. I mean, why we teach it to children is actually beyond me. I mean, I get that it has animals in it. I get there's a lot of drama in it. It's a folksy way of explaining why we have rainbows and why you'll never see a unicorn to this very day. But it is a terrifying story. And what it says about the character of God is hard to take. I mean, we proclaim that God is love, but here we see a wrathful, destructive version of that. And Noah is just the obedient servant doing what he is told. Rabbis in the Kabbalah tradition tell a slightly different story about Noah and God. They imagine Noah having a reaction that most of us can relate to. They say that when Noah emerges from those 40 days and 40 nights of torrential, devastating rain, when he looks out and sees the unimaginable devastation that has rained down upon all of creation, something in him stirs, and he cries out to the Blessed Holy One, saying, "Master of the world, you are called compassionate. You should have shown compassion for your creatures." Isn't that what a lot of us want to say? But these rabbis also imagine God replying to Noah and saying, "Foolish shepherd, now you say this? But not when I spoke, saying, 'Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. I am about to bring a flood to destroy all flesh.' I lingered with you. I spoke to you at length so that you would ask for mercy for the world." Abraham does this. Remember, when God threatens to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham says, "But what if there are 50 righteous people there? What if there are 40, 30, 20? What if there are 10? Don't do this." When the Israelites make a golden calf and complain about lousy food and lack of water, and God threatens to destroy them, Moses says, "Did you bring us out here just to kill us? Don't do this." The story of the flood and the ark and Noah takes up 4 full chapters of the book of Genesis. And in all of that text, do you know how many times Noah speaks? Once. He speaks one time at the very end, and the only thing he says is to curse one son and bless another. Noah never pleads for mercy for anyone. And according to these rabbis, the Blessed Holy One lingered with Noah, spoke many words to him. Perhaps he would ask for mercy for his generation. But he says nothing. And so after the flood, when he emerges and asks why, God says, "Why weren't you concerned about this before? As soon as you heard that you would be safe in the ark," God says, "the evil of the world did not touch your heart. You built the ark and saved yourself." And so these rabbis conclude that Noah did not care and did not ask for mercy. He just built the ark, and the whole world was destroyed. Now compare that to Jesus in the desert. The ark, a place of protection, a place enclosed and tossed upon turbulent seas of sin and chaos and culture, as one writer put it. And the desert, where demons and temptations and wild animals lurk, a completely open space that really doesn't seem safe in the words of another young theologian here. Noah and his family spend 40 days in the ark. They are saved from the flood, but they emerge unchanged. Well, maybe a bit traumatized. They survive, but they are not transformed. And neither they nor the world is really better off because of this ordeal. Jesus, on the other hand, spends 40 days in the desert and emerges to begin healing and teaching and proclaiming that the reign of God is here. He opens himself to danger. He gives up his life and is crucified. Jesus doesn't survive, but he is transfigured and resurrected, and the whole world is saved. Are we building arks for our own safety, or are we venturing out into the desert? See, the church has long been described as an ark. Even the architecture itself, this long, narrow part of the church, the nave, which comes from a Latin word that means ship, is often designed to look like the hull of a ship. An ark is protection. The desert is danger. Now, we have been in the desert for a long time now, haven't we? We all know how dangerous it can be out there, and we all yearn for places of safety and solace, for those, and those places are absolutely necessary. They're absolutely vital for our survival. And they can be temptations to shut out the world. It's tempting to build those bubbles where we feel safe and secure. But an ark which only protects those inside of it and cares not for those who are left out is more dangerous and more destructive than a desert full of demons and wild beasts. This ark, this church community, must be a place of both safety and transformation. In this ark, there has to be opportunities for growth and renewal. There needs to be some solace, and there needs to be some challenge. And Lent is an invitation to experience the desert within the ark. It's an invitation to find some sanctuaries in the desert, because transformation requires both. Now, Tammy had some great ideas for cultivating this both and in her sermon on Ash Wednesday, for reframing what it is that we might give up and what we might reach out for. If you missed that sermon, I do encourage you to go to the website and listen to it. In it, she asked, what if, instead of fasting in order to bring our attention back to God, what if we made a Lenten intention to find God in the people around us? And the From Many One conversations that the vestry participated in yesterday and that the Living Stones listening team will be introducing to you at social hour and encouraging you to participate in is a fantastic way to do this. It's a great way to practice finding God in those around you. Or, Tammy asked, what if instead of fasting, we instead asked to be fed spiritually and emotionally and socially? What if we intentionally sought out and shared God's nourishment with one another by participating in one of the online prayer services, morning prayer or Compline, taking part in the Lenten retreat that's being hosted by the Daughters of the King this weekend. Or simply, as Tammy puts it, what if we are able to fast from our fierce independence and instead intentionally opened ourselves to feed and to be fed by others around us? And if you want something even more concrete, what about sharing literal food with the over 700 families in Brookline who show up at the food pantry each week, which, by the way, is 4 times the number that they served pre-COVID? So if you have the means and you can donate some money to our Fund the Food Pantry drive in Lent, share some of God's grace and abundance and mercy with others, please do so. We've been in the desert, it's true. And it will always be tempting to build an ark and keep the world at bay. But remember today's lessons. Noah is secure. He doesn't ask for mercy. He just builds the ark, and the world is destroyed. Jesus goes into the wild places with a care for the least and the last and the lost, and the world is transformed. The purpose of a spiritual path is not survival. It's transformation. May this ark, this community of faith, remain a place of both security and transformation, and not just for our own sake, but for the sake of the world. Amen.